I read the article. It said going back to the 1990s, which the figures I don't believe, but just for the article's sake, it said about in the 1990s there was a study on how many people were into Wicca and witchcraft. It said about 8,000, and then they forwarded on to say, I think now something like 1.5 million, which is a lot more than that, man. It's a lot more than that. But that just goes to show you the levels of Satanism is rising and increasing. And they mainly push it on you millennials out there, man. All right, these young people are turning, who were probably raised up in so-called Christian homes. They're turning more to witchcraft now, man. And that's high amongst you so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans. You practice Santa Maria, among the Latin tribes and so forth, man. You name it, man. Black magic, over there in the west coast of Africa, over in the West Indies, man. You Haitians and that, man. A lot. Haiti is known for witchcraft, man. Right? But Jake just loved that whole satanic vibration, especially among the younger generation over there in the West Indies, man. But the point is that the Lord is basically, when the Lord comes back, all you witches and warlocks and so forth, man, you're gonna be put to death, all right?
Bro, part of that witchcraft is being a tranny.
Yeah.
That's what I met, man.
Yeah, man. That androgynous spirit, man. Yeah, men trying to be females and females trying to be men. All right, which is contrary to righteousness, man. So all these things of this world, enchantments, witchcraft, that's going to be done away with when the Lord returns.
That's true what the brother said, because Baphomet is seen as one of the highest demons, that they worship on the left-hand side, which happens to be a trend.
Revelations 21 and 8.
Revelation chapter 21 and verse 8. But the fearful and unbelieving and the abominable and murderers and whoremongers and sorcerers and idolaters and all liars shall have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone, which is the second death.
Yeah, man. So witchcraft and sorcery is gonna cease in the time to come, man. Right now it's prevalent. Everyone's dabbling in it like it's the thing to do or to try out. You got people getting their little what do they call them boards, Ouija boards. In the movies they make it seem like it's just a game, like it's just something you should try once. You got among these Edomites and so-called black women, all right? The women of this world, they go to get tarot card readings, They be into the newspaper, turning straight to that page. Ooh, I wonder if it's my lucky day. It's witchcraft, man. But all that spirit is gonna burn in the lake of fire, man. All right? Which is when America gets destroyed, people are gonna know that their enchantments have been cut off, man. All right. One moment. And second death being that during the time of the flood, that was the first death, man. All right. People had a chance to repent. All right. The Lord set up Noah to go and preach to the people, but no one wanted to hear, man, that the judgment was going to come. Well, in the time that we're living in now, World War III, there's going to be intercontinental ballistic missiles fired across the world. And the main place of judgment is going to be America, where those missiles are going to fall, man. All right? And all those people that are so proud in the US practicing that witchcraft and wherever else, all right, up in their covens and those Masonic buildings, music industry, and all these different places, you're going to catch that fire, man. And that judgment. Go ahead.
Just a quick one on the point. This is Exodus chapter 22 and 18.
Isaiah 2.
Thou shalt not suffer a witch to live.
Yeah, thou shalt not suffer a witch to live, right? Because right now, if this place was some righteous kingdom, there wouldn't be no the music industry wouldn't be pushing the vibration of Satanism, doing all kind of symbology in their videos, you know, trying to push out that satanic vibration, that you should try and do it. I mean, going back to what was it, the 80s and whatnot, they tried to make becoming a witch popular. All right, they made certain programs, Bewitched and all that, to try and make young men and women think of becoming a witch as something cool, you know, turning into you know, the gothics and all that. They tried to make it seem cool, man, and a lot of you young people took to that, man. All right, that's why now everyone wants to be into the music industries and the cinemas and so, you know, acting and all that. But then once you really get into those industries, you find that there's a lot of dark practices behind it. And you find that a lot of people can't take it when they first get into it, and you see them write on Facebook or whatever they want to commit suicide, you know, amongst all these people when they first initiated, because what they believed it to be weren't what it really was behind closed doors. All right, so there's a lot of satanic cycles or systems in place for people to get it, that people join up themselves onto, man. You know, there's a lot behind the curtains. But the point is, if you can read it again, huh?
Exodus 22:18.
Yeah.
Thou shalt not suffer a witch to live.
Yeah, man. So if this was a righteous kingdom, these witches and warlocks wouldn't exist. All right. But here it is. They're not doing according to the Bible, so they do exist, man. They do live.
Bro, you want to find out what tribe you're from?
What tribe?
I'm trying to tell her she's Benjamin, but she doesn't believe it.
Well, you know what? Where you from?
What country? Jamaica.
Okay. Well, there's more than anything, more likely you'll be a part of the tribe of Benjamin. All right, because the bulk of our people, the people on the side, Native Americans, Hispanics, and so forth.
That's from your father's side, right?
That's correct.
So for me,
All right,
my grandfather was Chinese. So what would that be?
Your grandfather.
Yeah,
Well,
my
it's not. Put it this way: the tribes were brought into captivity, right? And the bulk of them were put in different regions around the world. All right. But the point is, rather than be too concerned or overly concerned with what location to identify what tribe you are, the way you identify if you're a son of God or not is according to the Bible. If this truth resonates with you.
Because what I'm trying to say is, I'm telling you, my great grandfather was Chinese.
I was going to get to that.
So going back to that, so technically I'm not from Benjamin.
Not correct. Not correct.
No, you could be from any one of those tribes, man.
I was going to say that.
Because in times past, man, you know, migration's happened, innit? Yeah. So Israelites would have gone to different places and that had families and stuff like that. Yeah. When you take Bruce Lee, for instance, man, you think he was a typical Chinese dude? No. So, you know, where is he? He could have been a Judite, he could have been anything. But the most important thing is knowing that you're an Israelite. You know?
Right, this is Daniel chapter 9 and verse 7. And it says, "O Lord, righteousness belongeth unto thee, but unto us confusion of faces."
Right, there's confusion of faces. Why? Because in and amongst these different lands, there's different nations amongst our people. So then the more that our men sleep with different nations' women, several generations removed, our children are going to look like those nations. But then that doesn't make a difference, numbers, because the point is, how you discern what nation you are is according to your father's line. It's not according to what skin color you have or what facial features you have. It's according to your father's lineage.
This is the book of Numbers, chapter 1 and verse 18.
Yep.
And they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month, and they declared their pedigrees after their families by the house of their fathers.
So by the house of our fathers do we know who we are. But the thing is, we ain't got those carnal records anymore. So like I was going back to the point is, if this truth resonates with you and you believe on this word, then chances are, you know, you're an Israelite, man.
Because obviously you don't believe in the Holy Trinity.
No, we don't. Well, that's not in the Bible.
Yeah, I know. It does, you know, in the Bible, like it does tell you to be a Christian as well.
But obviously, Yahweh Shai, yeah. Do you believe he's not God? He's the Son of God. So what's the name from God then?
The Most High's name.
Yeah.
Well, he revealed it to Moses, didn't he? And what was the name that he gave to Moses? When you look in the Hebrew, his name is Yahweh.
Yahweh, and then that's Yahweh Shai, his son.
Right, that's correct. All right, but you know the name. You know, you've probably heard of us before. Yeah, go ahead.
Just what happened to the tribes. This is the book of James, chapter 1 and 1. James, a servant of God, and the Lord, Yahweh, Ba'asham Yahweh Shai, to the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad.
Right, 12 tribes were scattered abroad. So we were scattered to, even in the curses, when you read in Deuteronomy 28th chapter, 64, it said we was going to basically be
I'll get it.
be brought to our enemies, man, you know, to serve punishment. All right?
This is Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 64. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people from one end of the earth even unto the other.
Yeah, from one end of the earth. So you got our people scattered around all different places in the earth, man. So that's why the Lord set up the prophets to be fishers of men. Why? Because just as a fisherman would be fishing, there'll be unclean fish and then there'll be clean fish, man. Well, we're out here fishing for our people, man, because our people don't identify with their true biblical nationalities. They identify with slave names. All right. So how do we fish for our people? Through the word.
This is Isaiah chapter 1 and verse 3. The ox knoweth his owner, and the ass his master's crib. But Israel doth not know, my people doth not consider.
Yeah, because our people have been taught to believe, and they've been programmed to believe the identity given to them by the so-called white man. So when you watch TV, you're taught to envision yourself as some sort of a music artist, as some sort of actor, and that's the only accolades that you can live up to. When our people are creators, inventors, man. But then how much of our people, or the average so-called millennial, believe in themselves to create something or make something? Or want to be doctors and want to be inventors, and they don't, man. They just want to be music artists. Showing you, like we was going into earlier, the whole spirit of this kingdom is witchcraft and enchantment, because our people are under a spell of really being a nigger, man. You know, being everything that which they're not meant to be.
Hosea chapter 4 and verse 6. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge.
And that lack of knowledge is this truth. Because the scriptures tell you wisdom of this world is foolishness. Alright? So whenever they, I'll give you an example. In the wisdom of this world, you can be a transgender, and that has to be respected. When the Bible tells you that's an abomination unto the Lord. You know, you can't bring that up. So that which the Lord wants, everyone's basically saying to hell with what the Lord wants. We have respect unto abomination. In fact, in this society, an abomination is something that is held in high regard. You know, amongst the music industry, fashion industry. You know, they're more concerned about homosexuals than the sufferings and shortcomings of the so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans.
Precept. Isaiah 5 and 20. Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness.
Yeah, so basically, like I was saying, everything in this society is against the scriptures, man. It's contrary. So our people, that's why we come out here to teach our people, to wake them up to their true nationality, and to come out of this place, man. Because World War III is coming, you know, judgment, you know, and it's evident a lot of spectators or people from alternative media and news, they're reporting on these things, man, that you won't hear in the mainstream news. And they're telling you of the coming of certain things like the money and the dollar and what's it? Yeah. Basically, the money system's through. All right, and they're going on to say that You know, like certain crashes, what is it, 1930s or something like that, 1929? Those crashes, the Great Depression and so forth. They're explaining that the depression, we're actually in one now, but it's actually going to supersede that which was in the past. And what succeeded those depressions? World War II. So evidently now we're living in a time of the coming of the ushering in of World War III. So it's serious, man. Like I was saying, man, we've got certain people that will pride themselves on, I know I'm from the tribe of this and tribe of that. You know, it is whatever, man. The point is whether you believe or not, man. And do you really believe in it?
My question is, you know when it says like three, so you've got obviously Yahushai, Yahweh, and the Spirit. So what's the Spirit and the Word?
The Spirit basically is the Lord and the Lord and His Son are one, basically.
One, innit? Same.
You understand? They're in agreement. You know, this whole doctrine or dogma of teaching, you know, the Heavenly Father, basically that Yahushai is the Most High. You know, that doesn't exist in the Bible, man.
Right, this is John 6 and verse 63. It is the Spirit that quickeneth, the flesh profiteth nothing. So it's the Spirit that quickeneth. The Spirit is what gives you this wisdom, knowledge and understanding. Makes you alive, you know?
Take it, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. So let's continue where we left off. Micah, 5th chapter, and the 12th verse. Go ahead.
This is Micah chapter 5 and 12. And I will cut off witchcrafts out of thine hand.
Yeah, so the witchcraft of this world is going to be cut out, man. Put aside, you know. Anybody practicing it is going to be condemned, man. All right, and put to death. Go ahead.
And it says, and thou shalt have no more soothsayers.
Yeah, you're not going to have any more soothsayers, people trying to tell you that there's not going to be no punishment for these things, that these things are just going to perpetually continue. And you know, the Lord won't bring judgment upon you people for these things. Go ahead.
And it says, thy graven images also will I cut off.
Right, because hand in hand with these witchcraft and so-called acts, man, all right, the practicing of witchcraft, come these idols, and they give up their, you know, oblations and show forth their respect and their honor and their credence towards that idol, man, all right. They want to show forth their love towards their so-called idols, all right. And that's what they do. They do certain spells and prayers to Satan for whatever reasons, man. And another thing it was saying in the article is that they were basically those paraphernalias towards witchcraft sales are selling on an all-time high. You know them. You go past certain shops. They got them candles, one for healing, one for sickness, one you cast spells on people. You know. Then they put what they call so-called images of saints. They give them idols. They say pray to the idol this many times, this guy will drop dead. You know, and there's certain people that was revealing these covens and certain practices behind closed doors, such as John Todd, and you've got other people giving testimonials that they used to be into the occult and certain things. Man. But a lot of people are switched off to the evidence of these things, man. You know.
And it says, and thy standing images out of the midst of thee, and thou shalt no more worship the work of thine hands.
Yeah, no more worship the work of your own hands, man. All right. The Lord is going to come back and put a stop to everybody, especially 2/3 of our people worshipping them idols, man. You know, to gods which are not. Now there are going to be a number of our people that are going to come out of that madness, and the Lord will have mercy on them, man. And it tells you that in 1 Corinthians 12th chapter, in the first and second. All right, our people are going to come out of that madness. And 1. Point is in 2.
Yeah, this is 1 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 2. It says, ye know that ye were Gentiles,
Yeah.
carried away unto these dumb idols.
Yeah, so our people in a Gentilian state of mind, man, being that they were following after the odious works of these other nations. When they moved in, when they went to their different lands, they would start to put on their customs, you know, and Christmas is just an example of that, man. Because Christmas really goes back to Nimrod, man, and his phallus being the tree being a symbol of a phallus.